Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake with a Saturday morning sun, pop on the floor with big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm your sexy half-elf rogue with a clingy sister, Joseph.
And I'm your stereotypical, chaotic, neutral, horny bard. My name's Chris.
And this morning, we watched The Legend of Vox Machina.
Whee! This was chosen by me for my birthday.
It was. Happy belated birthday. Early birthday from this time, but belated birthday from when people are hearing this. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Time is funny that way. I don't understand time, but one day I will, you know?
Just so I know, your birthday is Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday?
I don't even know. Yes.
Yay. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, that day. I was like, I don't know either, to be honest. But yes, that day.
Cool. Well, happy early/belated.
Yeah. Happy early and late birthday to me. So I was really excited to do this one. I've been kind of waiting on it. So when this came out, I was just like, okay, birthday pick. If this doesn't show up before then, this is what's happening.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you're going to pick, but then when you said this, I was like, oh, duh. Like, you had been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And I honestly, even though I had watched it already, I had forgotten about it kind of, or at least put it in the back of my mind. And then rewatching it, though, is like, oh, yes, it's so good.
Yeah. And for any of you folks out there that are fans, I also am a fellow critter. So there you go.
Yes, which I'll explain that in the marshmallows.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, maybe you know what that is, maybe don't.
I do.
But it sounds like you do.
Yeah,
learned. You've learned.
I've learned, even though I'm not a critter per se. But we'll get there. All right. So the show, Legend of Vox Machina, aired from 2022 to present because it's still going. Created by Critical Role, based on the Critical Role's first campaign. Developed by Chris Prynoski and Critical Role. Produced by Critical Role Productions. Can I say Critical Role anymore?
How many times can you say it?
A lot. Amazon Studios and Production Rev. Ran for one season, 12 episodes so far. Originally on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, with season 2 slated to be coming.
Yeah, it was actually approved for season 2 before season 1 even aired.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I guess they were like, Amazon was really confident, huh?
Yeah, Amazon's like, this is great. We love it.
We're doing this.
That's how I assume it went.
Yeah, probably.
In a desperate attempt to pay off a mounting bar tab, a band of misfits end up on a quest to save the realm of Exandria from dark magical forces.
I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, there's not really, like, that makes it sound like there's a lot of emphasis on, like, this bar tab thing.
That's true. That's really one scene, and then it's over with.
Yeah, it's not like everything they do is in debt because of some bar tab. It's mainly just because they get in a lot of trouble.
And they're broke.
Yeah, and they just don't have money. And if you haven't figured out yet, or if you're not in the know, this is very much based on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll get talked about a lot more in the marshmallows as well.
And probably just throughout the episode in general. So who are some of the actors who played in this show? Okay,
well, strap in, because this cast, not only is it a little big, these are all like very seasoned voice actors. Extremely, extremely good. But the voice of Scanlan Shorthalt was done by Sam Riegel, who was the voice of Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2000 series, the one that was kind of like a little bit more on the serious side. Do you remember watching that one?
Yeah, it was the one that was kind of edgier than the rest had been.
Yeah, and then they had that movie that came out as well, and I believe he reprised his role as Donatello there as well. He was also Phoenix Wright in several Ace Attorney games and voices Metal Bat in One Punch Man.
Oh, cool.
The character Grog Strongjaw was voiced by Travis Willingham, who's the voice of Guile in Street Fighter 4 and onwards. Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He's the voice of Thor in pretty much every Marvel cartoon since 2015, and also the voice of Knuckles in several Sonic games and cartoons, including Sonic Boom, which we watched, I think, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I do remember Knuckles being in that, too. The voice of Percy, well, I'm not even going to try to do his whole name because it's very long, but I'll just say Percy DeRollo. was Taliesin Jaffe, who is the voice of Blanca in Street Fighter 4 and onwards. He was also the voice of Keith from Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, which we reviewed very early in our show. He also voices Barry Allen, aka The Flash from Injustice and Mortal Kombat versus DC, those games. The voice of Keyleth was Marisha Ray, who has been in lots of a voice role in a lot of games that you'd probably be familiar with, like Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Heroes. She's the voice of AJ from the Friday the 13th game. And she's also the female player's voice from Metal Gear Survive, and then Ash from Death's Gambit. The only one of those games I've played is Friday the 13th, and I know which character they're talking about, but I haven't played those other ones. But I believe you've played almost all of those, or at least know of them.
Yeah, I know I had played through Death's Gambit, which I need to go back to because I know there's an expansion or something that was added to it after I'd already beaten it, so need another run through it.
There you go. Pike Trickfoot was voiced by Ashley Johnson. This is someone we've talked about a ton. Some of these next ones, you're going to definitely recognize these names from our show. She was the voice of Gretchen from Recess, Tara from Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go as well, Gwen from all of the Ben 10 series of shows, Tulip and Mirror Tulip from Infinity Train, and of course Ellie from The Last of Us, both 1 and 2. Character of Vexalia was Laura Bailey, who was the voice of Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball, Young Trunks and Gotenks from Dragon Ball Z, Lust from Full Metal Alchemist, Maka from Soul Eater, Black Widow from Marvel cartoons since 2015. She's the voice of Jaina Proudmoore from World of Warcraft for any of our fellow WoW heads, with which Joseph and I used to be part of that crowd. No longer. We had to break those chains. And like some of her counterparts, she's the voice of Chun-Li from Street Fighter 4 and onwards. A lot of Street Fighter people in this crew.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. The voice of Vax'ildan was Liam O'Brien, who was the voice of Nephrite from Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. Of course, I'm talking about the English version, the English dub. The voice of Illidan Stormrage from World of Warcraft. The voice of Gaara from Naruto. Well, you know, any Naruto series that has him in it. He's the voice of Nightcrawler from Wolverine and the X-Men. Red Skull in any Marvel animation since 2017. And is also the voice of Professor Maelstrom from Carmen Sandiego, the Netflix series. We're almost there. And these are just like the main characters. There's so many people in this show. I'm not even going to get into like the side characters, but goodness. The voices of Silas Briarwood, the narrator, and tons of miscellaneous characters would be Matthew Mercer, who is the voice of Tigra from Thundercats, the 2011 version, which I'm surprised we haven't gotten to just yet, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. He's also the voice of Might Guy from Naruto SD, Yamato from Naruto Shippuden, which I still think is a hilarious word to say. He's the voice of Cole Cassidy from Overwatch, Hit from Dragon Ball Super, and Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Levi from Attack on Titan. So lots of really, really cool shows there. And then finally, the voice of Delilah Briarwood was Grey Griffin. Again, another person that we've talked about a billion times on our podcast. She has been Daphne in all the Scooby-Doo stuff since 2000. The voice of Mandy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Azula from Avatar The Last Airbender. She's Chalice from Cuphead. Lola and Lana from The Loud House. And maybe very appropriate for this show, she's Monster Girl from Invincible, of which this is, there's a lot of similarities to this series with Invincible that I'm going to touch on at some point for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is the main cast. And like, I got to say, there are so many other amazing and well-known voice actors in this show because this is a group of voice actors that started playing Dungeons and Dragons. So then when it became a show, they pulled in all of their friends that are all voice actors to become a part of this thing. So if I just went through everything, we'd be here forever. And I still think we took a long time to get through that. But man, it's worth it because this cast is amazing.
Yeah, also imagine how long a regular D&D campaign takes, which is hours and hours and hours of sessions condensed down into this 12-episode show. But keeping all those characters that they came across like in that show, it's like there's going to be a ton of them, even if they only get a few scenes here and there.
Yeah, I mean, their first campaign that this show is based on was several years.
Oh my gosh.
And I just looked it up, like how many hours of actual game time there is. And it was 373 hours.
Woo!
So yeah, it's crazy.
Condensed down into what, like 4 hours maybe?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's only like this first season's only like a small fraction of that campaign.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the whole campaign. Okay.
No. There's way more stories in that campaign for sure.
Well, for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Legend of Vox Machina cereal, a Kickstarter was formed by the cast in an attempt to raise $750,000 in 45 days so they could get a single half-hour animated episode out. Apparently, major organizations did not have the confidence in a bunch of nerdy voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons for others' viewing pleasures as a financially safe bet, but 88,887 backers pledged $11,385,449 to help bring this project to life.
That's insane.
They were trying to raise $750,000 and raised over $11 million.
That is crazy. $11 million.
Yeah.
Within 45 days?
I guess, because that's just how long the campaign went, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Holy crap. That's amazing. That's got to be like a record.
And I don't even know what the math is for that. With 88,887 people divided into that 11 million. I'm not going to do the math right now, but that's a lot.
It's still a lot. That's a whole lot.
So the group name Vox Machina is a reference to the fact that all the players are voice actors. The phrase translates to from Latin to voice machine.
Nice. Okay. I was kind of always wondered about that, to be honest. I knew that Machina meant machine. I wasn't totally sure on Vox.
Yeah, and it's funny because like in the first episode, one of them is about to explain it and then they get cut off.
That's
so
true.
It's like, I guess, kind of the inside joke.
Yeah.
Fans of Critical Role, those who brought you Vox Machina, are known as critters. And that is really just playing off of Critical Role being the name of it. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the fandom. We're critters.
Based on Campaign 1 of Critical Role from 2015, which started as the home game for Dungeons & Dragons, and then ran on Geek and Sundry's Twitch channel from 2015 to 2017, the campaign can be watched on YouTube and consists of about 400 hours of gameplay, like you were saying.
Yeah, and I've listened to all of it.
Gee, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me jump into that real quick in saying that I've never listened to any episodes because I don't have it. I cannot watch other people play a game like D&D. I could listen to it because I've listened to Adventure Zone, like when I'm driving or whatever, but I can't watch people do it because that is me having to both visually and audibly engage into something, and I don't have the patience for it. I'm not saying I have anything against it. I'm sure it's wonderful, but I cannot watch it in that format.
I'll tell you, like, this is how it unfolded for me. I watched a few episodes and then I was kind of like, I was into it for a little bit. And then it's just like, it's such a big time commitment that it is like, okay, well, then it went from like sitting down and watching it to having it up while I'm doing other stuff like working or something like that. But then I found myself like not being able to really pay that much attention. And then it was just like, oh, well, I really don't need to watch it. I'll just listen. So then I transitioned to just really listening to the episodes because they do have just the audio stripped on podcast platforms to listen to the audio only. And so I started doing it that way. But then when like really big moments in the campaign happen where I'm like, oh man, I want to see like their reactions to like what happened. Like I want to see it. Then like I might go back and like just watch clips or find the episode and just look for like the certain parts where like these big moments would happen. There's like one specific one in the episodes that we watched where I definitely went back to see the cast's faces when it happened in the campaign. And like just some of they're so animated that it doesn't disappoint when you like go back to see the big moments.
Nice. Right now, I am committed to a 100 plus hour video game, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I love it, but it's like it's hard for me. I don't know that I could watch or listen to something that's that long. And that's nothing against it. It's just my attention span is not that great.
Oh yeah, I get it. It almost becomes addicting in a way though too. Like, so I've gone through all of season 1 and season 2, or campaign 1 and campaign 2, and then I got they're on campaign 3, and I think I got like 12 or 15 episodes in before like life stuff got in the way, and then I fell off. But then I'm just kind of like, oh, I'll let some episodes build up, and then I'll hop back in and start listening again. So
yeah, well. Let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we watched for today's show, starting with the first one being The Terror of Tal'Dorei, Part 1, Season 1, Episode 1. The ragtag group of adventurers known as Vox Machina are commissioned by Sovereign Uriel to find out who or what is decimating villages in the outskirts of Amon.
Yeah, I love the opening of this. It's probably one of the best openings of a show. And let's go ahead and say the thing now that this show is definitely, and we kind of said at the end of the last one, this is not for children. This is not for any minors in any capacity, because there's a lot of blood, a lot of
nudity. Not a lot, but there's some.
And there's definitely nudity, quite a bit in this first episode, to be honest. So, yeah.
So yeah, be warned, it's a TVMA program for a reason.
Yes, very, very much so. But and here's the thing too, there's going to be spoilers in this, because you can't really talk about some of the big things in some of these episodes without there being spoilers. So if you're interested in it, go watch it first and then come back and finish this episode out. So you can not get things spoiled for you. So from this point on, spoiler territory.
Spoilers, and be careful, kids. Ask your parent. Probably don't even ask your, just don't do it. It's probably just like, probably just shouldn't watch this, period.
Don't get traumatized.
Don't get traumatized by this. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till you're older.
Yeah.
But okay, so now that we're in the thick of it, the opening of this, when you got the narrator talking about, like, you know, these heroes from across Amon who have come together to fight this ancient evil, and then they all die horribly.
Yeah, it pretty much lets you know right away what you're getting yourself into, and your expectations are, in a typical show, like, these heroes come in, they save the day, blah blah blah. But no. Like, this band of actual heroes comes in and just gets decimated. Like, one of them gets, like, their head split in half, and it falls onto, like, the other ones. It's like, it is insanely overly gory, very violent. To tie you already to the Invincible show, if people have seen that, it is at hyper violence in animated form, which is very entertaining, unless you're very squeamish, I guess.
Yeah. This show is just as gory, if not more gory, than Invincible is, for sure. Very similar animation styles too, except I would say this show much less saturated, I think, with color, but a lot of similarities for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely, like, I feel like Amazon Prime has almost kind of established a little bit of a style in that route, because the shows do look extremely similar.
Yeah, and it's not a bad style to have either.
No, not at all.
It's really nice. It's very clean animation.
I believe the animator was the guy that worked on like Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice. I think that was the guy who was the lead animator for this show.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So they're talking to, well, here's where we get, like, the council talking with Sovereign Uriel about how to stop this beast, this mysterious beast that has killed these other heroes. And he commissions them he gets them to bring him the greatest band of mercenaries in Tal'Dorei. And that's where we cut over to this bar scene that we were referencing earlier about that bar tab. And this is where we meet our actual heroes of Vox Machina, who are going to be our main characters.
Yeah, and heroes kind of being a little bit in quotes, because they're kind of like, the Vox Machina is kind of like the almost like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia of this world. Like, they're kind of terrible people starting out, you know. They're just always, they're getting in so much trouble, and they're really gross and so rude. It's so funny.
It kind of reminds me of the players I don't like playing D&D with, but all of them working together in unison.
Yeah. They are just like, they're drinking a lot. They, start mouthing off, getting really mouthy with some other mercenaries in this tavern. We find out Scanlan is in the next room, having relations with the tavern owner's daughter, which really sets the tavern owner off. This huge bar brawl breaks out with them and basically the whole rest of the bar, in which like Grog immediately just starts chopping people to bits.
Yeah, this is another mercenary group that they're combating with, at least at this point.
What made me laugh the most, though, in this part was like, so Keyleth, who is kind of like the more naive, more innocent of the group, like she means well, but it's kind of like she's aligned herself with such a bad crew. And she cannot hold her liquor. Like, she's super drunk. And I think Pike even points out, didn't you only have one ale?
Yeah.
And she's just like trying so hard not to get sick. This one, like, I don't know, like dog headed dude like roars in her face, but she like barfs right into his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That cracked me up.
It's so gross. But again, if you're squeamish, beware. But like, I don't mind stuff like that. I think it's funny, but I'm just saying, like, there is a lot of vomit and blood and various other things.
Especially this first episode.
Yeah. So the brawl is essentially won by Vox Machina, but the bartender, of course, is like, who's going to pay for all this? And it looks like almost like the bartender's kind of like has an orcish form, but then turns into like a minotaur. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
That was cool.
Basically, it's like you got to pay the tab, but ends up, since they are broke, they don't have anything, just kicks them out and bans them from yet another tavern.
Yeah, I think one of them says at one point that was like the last tavern in Amman that they weren't kicked out of. So like essentially they've been kicked out of every tavern in the land that they're a part of. So that's pretty good. And that's when like they're kind of out there and they're sort of just a little down in the dumps. And what I do like here though is they immediately sort of start picking up on, the idea that, they are a crap group and they're not good together. And, especially like Keyleth, usually the voice of reason, like, why are we even doing this? Like, we're not good at this. We're not helping anyone. What are we doing? Percy's kind of like, hey, ethics aren't a luxury we can afford. And then she's just kind of like, these two only look out for themselves. Percy's got his own thing. Scanlan's just trying to bet everybody. Grog just wants to murder everyone. And Grog's like, yeah, that's true. So she's just very much questioning, like, why are we even friends? Why are we even together? But that's when Scanlan sees that flyer that Sovereign Uriel had put out everywhere, calling for a mercenary group. And he kind of sees that as this is the thing that might keep us together. Let's go get rich. So they show up at Sovereign Uriel's chambers, still like they're completely dirty, covered in blood, all messed up. Keyleth's still like vomiting on herself when they get in there. They just look like garbage. And I just think that's so funny that they show up to this, essentially like the king of the land. He's the head of this council that governs the entire kingdom. And they are just looking like they just crawled out of a Taco Bell dumpster.
Yeah. Obviously, the council has doubts about them, but decide to give them a chance. Scanlan sings an intro song that is kind of serves as both like an intro for the council and the sovereign, but also for us, the audience, to like what all the characters are about.
Which we should probably explain like who each person is really quick on like a really quick summation.
Yeah, so as far as classes go, for anyone who does play D&D, are really just familiar with fantasy in general, like Grog is your barbarian.
He's like a Goliath, and he's like a big dumb brute, like real dumb, but he's funny. He's like the funny guy of the group because he's so stupid.
Heart of gold, all that, but also enjoys violence and
loves
fighting. Yeah,
favorite thing.
Percy is, I don't know what class he is.
He is a human gunslinger.
Oh, okay.
Which that was something that when they originally started playing, they started in Pathfinder and then migrated over to D&D 5e when they started streaming it. So they had to create a thing for Percy's character. But now there is it's like a fighter subclass now on D&D Beyond that you can get. So.
Okay, so it was homebrewed originally, though.
Yeah, originally it was homebrewed, but now it's actually something I believe you can do.
Keyleth is your druid. Yeah, like you said, she's the most innocent of them all and really probably has the most pure heart because all the other ones are very damaged individuals for one reason or another.
And she's, I think, probably the most powerful also, but has the least amount of confidence in anything she does because she's super clumsy, super unsure of herself, very scared a lot of the time, but extremely powerful when it calls for it.
Right. A lot of self-doubt, but a lot of untapped potential. You have Vex and Vax, who are brother and sister, or sister and brother in the order that I said it. So Vex is the girl, Vax is the guy. They are half-elves. One of them is an archer. The other is a rogue, I believe.
Yep, that's right.
Yes. There are dependency issues for sure that start to unfold.
Yeah. Vex is very clingy.
Yes.
To Vax. Like she's very much, I guess feels in charge of Vax, but Vax is very aloof and kind of a goofball, but he also has a lot of anger to him too.
Mm-hmm.
So they clash there sometimes.
Pike is a cleric?
Yeah, she's the gnome cleric.
Yeah. And, she's really sweet, but because you'll see her a lot, but she's not with the main party for a lot of this adventure because I guess a cleric versus undead would almost be too easy. So they kind of just push her aside for a while.
There's like reasons behind the scenes why it's a little like out of game meta kind of thing, but like what they do here is like she stops like hearing from her patron, basically
the Everlight.
The Everlight, and it's kind of in her mind it's because like she's really gone down like this really dark path of like, I mean, we talked about how them as a group, they're not good for each other, they're not doing good, and she feels like she's kind of brought a curse onto herself because she's not really able to heal anymore. She's not doing a good job. So she kind of leaves the party for quite a while to go to a temple of the Everlight and has to kind of like relearn her bearings and sort of find herself and find her faith all over again and figure out like what she's going to be as opposed to if like just being, a part of this group that runs around drinking and getting into trouble all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Scanlan.
Yes.
The horny bard, the horny gnome bard of the party. There's always one, and he is the biggest goofball who never takes anything seriously and is pretty much, if there's trouble, he's usually the cause. So there's that.
We should also mention Trinket, who is the bear that is, I believe he belongs to Vex.
That's right. Yeah. Vex's companion.
Right.
And that's actually the only reason Sovereign Uriel ends up choosing them. In the end, he's like, well, they do have a bear.
I like the bear.
So,
yeah.
He even tells them, like, at the end, when he finally does give them the job, he's just like, I mainly picked you because you have a bear.
Yeah, because he likes the bear. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I love that. Like, all the things they did to try to impress him. And he's just like, you have a bear.
Right. I mean, they don't have much else going for them, to be honest.
No. Also, like one of the other guys there in the court, Krieg, who's kind of like the general, was kind of like, let's give them a little bit of a chance. And I did want to say that Krieg was voiced by David Tennant. For those who are huge fans of Doctor Who, you'll recognize that voice.
Mm-hmm.
So
they go off on an adventure in a flying ship. Like literally, if you think about like Final Fantasy 3/6, then you know how you're traveling around in the kind of Zeppelin thing. I don't know. So they're traveling their flying ship to get to the village initially that had been ravaged or that had potentially witnessed this beast, still not knowing what it was. They start to form these relationships with some of the villagers, especially these kids who Vax is impressing with his magic tricks. One of the kids opens up to him, telling him that it's whatever it was really, really big and its wings were beating and it flew overhead. So they now know, oh, this is probably a dragon, and they start to follow the tracks and eventually run into this small cute lamb as they're tracking it. But mysteriously, they see these giant footprints turn into human footprints in the process. And then as they're seeing this lamb just kind of like prance off or like bounce off, it gets stepped on by this huge dragon foot. And that's kind of when the actual beast of the first episode is introduced.
Yeah. And I love that transition too. Like when you see the cute little thing, all of a sudden it's just bloof, just smushed.
Completely smushed.
Oh, man. And there's this huge fight with this giant dragon that shoots lightning out of its mouth, and it's just destroying everything. And the fight is so good. Like, it's kind of like the highlight of the episode because it's just so well done. It's so cool. All the animation is so fluid and interesting, but like Vox Machina gets destroyed, man. They get annihilated.
Yeah, they don't have a chance. They don't even really scratch it.
Yeah, and in fact, they lost so badly that like they as a party just about split up when it's all said and done. Like the dragon ends up dropping a bunch of rocks on them from a cliff edge and then flies off. And afterwards, they're like arguing about what to do next. And like Keyleth's terrified because they almost died. Some of them are wanting to walk away, like this isn't worth it. Some of them are like, but we need this money. Pike's like, forget the money. We have to do it for these people in the village. Vax is like, no, like we're walking away from this. This is insane. So they kind of like, I think all of them sort of come to that idea that we're walking away from this, aside from Pike, who is not pleased with the decision. But they get down back to that village and find it just completely wrecked. And that little kid that Vax had bonded with in particular, like they find him like in the rubble and he dies in Vax's arms. And that's when they change their mind and they're just like, all right, we're going to kill this dragon. And then that's the end of the episode. But it makes your heart sink when you see that village because you just know.
What makes it a little bit heavier even is that a little bit of an aside here is during the fight, Grog ends up getting hurt. So Pike heals him, but it really taps her out of her magic. And she's, very tired after doing so. And that's when they then go to the village and see this. Everyone else is dead except that kid that Vax bonded with. But all he really needs is to be healed by Pike. But she doesn't have the ability or the strength to offer that now since she had just finished using it. So not only, is this kid now dead, but Pike now feels responsible in part for not being able to save him, which goes into what we were talking about earlier with her losing faith in herself and not being able to heal anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That goes into like a several episode stretch of her going off and doing her own kind of mission and finding herself sort of thing, which is taking place during the next episode we watch. She's still gone doing that whole shebang.
And so the next episode we did watch for today's show was Fate's Journey, season 1, episode 5, chosen by you because of the last scene, basically.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm kidding. No, I chose this one specifically because there's a lot of insight into each character specifically. Like you learn a lot more about each of them. And I just felt like it's a really good lead up into everything else that's happening. Like it's a really good transition between what the beginning of the show is, like learning about these characters, and then going into everything that's going to take place at Whitestone, which is where they arrive by the end. And also just wanting to touch on the very last scene of this episode, which is just so chilling. Ugh.
So in this one, Vox Machina journeys to Whitestone to confront the Briarwoods and help Percy reclaim his family home. As they travel, Scanlan studies Delilah Briarwood's mysterious spellbook to uncover clues.
Yeah. So they first start off, a bunch of them are sneaking into, they're running from some people, but they end up sneaking into a magic shop of items owned by a guy named Gilroy, who is a huge fan favorite NPC, who is also one of the DM of their campaign. He has said multiple occasions that he has the biggest soft spot for that NPC as well. Gilroy is like a really big thing. So a lot of people were happy to see him. Gilmore. I screwed it up. Everyone's going to call me a fake fan now.
You're not a critter after all.
I know. I'm not a critter. I'm a quitter. But yeah, then so they get a bunch of good stuff from Gilmore. They hop in a wagon, start journeying to Whitestone, as we said. They had gotten a book from Delilah Briarwood before, like one that they stole. Delilah and Silas are these two characters that had taken over this place called Whitestone, which is where Percy grew up. These two came in, murdered Percy's like whole family, took over the place, tortured Percy for several years till he escaped. And Percy has been on this quest for a long time to eventually get revenge, all this stuff. But they've kind of found out that Delilah might be doing some really evil magic-y stuff, and also that her husband Silas is a vampire.
Yeah, she is she is a necromancer. And yeah, Silas is a vampire. And so while they're at Gilmore's, they're basically trying to find everything anti-vampire that they can. Stakes specifically, and then Gilmore offers them holy water to really help fight against him.
Yeah. But unfortunately, though, as they're traveling to Whitestone, she sends a bunch of these like undead, like almost like weird dog monsters after them to retrieve her book.
They're kind of like the dog from The Thing, basically.
Yeah.
Like they're not zombie dogs per se, because their faces like open up and like Stranger Things.
Sort of like the Demogorgon.
Exactly. Exactly. And they have tentacles going everywhere. Like they look freaky, but really cool.
I wonder if those were supposed to be like displacer beasts or something. I'm not sure.
No.
But they go after them, and there's like a really big like chase scene fight that goes on, and they end up losing all of their supplies, which really sucks for them. Like they got all that stuff, and then they lose it all because their wagon goes over the cliff edge with all of their stuff on it. And they lose the book.
Oh yeah, and the book, which they thought at the time was a spell book, and they were trying to decipher it. The only thing they got out of it was that it's something around a ziggurat.
Yeah, and they saw the name called the Whispered One.
Yes.
Is something Scanlan learned, which
plays a huge role later.
Yeah. There's also this thing that happens. There's this scene of Silas and Delilah bringing in a small group of like townspeople from their village of Whitestone as quote unquote dinner guests.
Oh, man.
And gives one little girl, a little blonde girl, a necklace that looks an awful lot like the one that Pike wears. Yeah.
So Delilah says that basically tells the little girl that she won a prize, like a very special prize or something.
Yes. It's nuts.
Oh, yeah.
We'll explain that in a little bit. But so now that they've lost all their stuff, they're kind of camped for the night. And then we spend a lot of time kind of like with each character and like watching them interact with each other and telling each other stories, which was kind of the main part of the episode that I really wanted to watch for this, is like them talking to each other and bonding and doing all this stuff. Like, it's kind of the fun part of a D&D campaign where you get to do that campfire moment of having the NPCs or the player characters just sit and talk and interact, and like all the fun dialogue that can come out of that. And this was no exception, because like they do the thing like, you know, what's the strangest creature you've ever killed? And you get to see flashbacks for some of them. And some of them are so funny. Keyleth's, oh my God. She's fighting like that dwarf dude who falls in the lava, and he's just slowly dying and screaming. And she's like, no, shh, quiet, go to sleep.
And everybody's just like, oh my God, that's so dark.
Yeah, she's sitting there just with a big smile, and everyone's like, ugh. And Grog's where he pries like the jaws of that beast open, and then he bites its tongue out of its face.
Yeah, they commend him for that being creative. Scanlan's is a sexual encounter.
Of course. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Man. It's just a fun moment.
But it comes back to serious talk back when it gets to Percy, because he's saying essentially the worst monsters are in Whitestone, and they'll all be facing them soon. Speaking of Lady Briarwood and Silas.
Yeah. And so they get there to Whitestone. And what was really sad was like one of them asked Percy what Whitestone was like, and he's talking about how he remembered it as a boy and like how beautiful it was, and he's talking about all the hills and the flowers and the big beautiful sun tree. It's this giant tree of magic kind of at the center of town, and they get there and the place is decimated. Everything is dead and dying. It's dilapidated, falling apart, completely in distress. There's giant undead, literal giants roaming the streets. Just, it's horrifying.
A lot of the people are in hiding. It's like, compared to what he was describing, it is not even recognizable anymore.
But then the most horrifying part is the sun tree, which they turn the corner and they see there's our dinner guests all hung from the tree and all dressed up as Vox Machina, as basically we know you're here and here's a warning. This is what we're going to do to you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So even the little child, is hanging from there. They're all dead. They're all hung, dressed just like our heroes. And it's just, oh God, it's a horrifying scene. Yeah. What was your first impression the first time you saw that?
I mean, I wasn't prepared for it. I'll say that. Like I knew in the scene where they had invited the guest in that they were going to eat them, because it's like a vampire can't just have dinner guests without the guest being dinner. So it's like, right. That was obvious. But I wasn't anticipating them to string them up as a warning. And that was where it was really dark, especially like seeing the kid hung up like that. It's like, geez, like they're not holding back.
So here's one thing that's a kind of fun tidbit for Critical Role's Campaign 3. One of those dinner guests, the one that was supposed to be dressed up like Vex, gets resurrected and is one of the player's characters in Campaign 3.
Oh, weird.
She's basically an undead warlock kind of character named Laudna, and Marisha Ray, the one that plays Keyleth in this, plays that character in Campaign 3. But it is the exact same person. She just happens to wake up after events unfold due to some crazy magic stuff happening and doesn't know what had happened to her really. She just has these little bits and pieces of memory. So it's just a really cool callback to that scene.
Yeah, seriously, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So that wraps up that episode in a very grim way, leading us into the last one we watched for today's show, which was Whispers at the Ziggurat, Season 1, Episode 11. This was the highest rated one, understandably so, because the fight scenes in this one were awesome. Like, they were so good. Vox Machina launches a final assault against the Briarwoods atop the Ziggurat. Battling the dark magic of Delilah and the vampiric strength of Silas, a worried Vex and an unhinged Percy try to save their siblings. But their best efforts may not be enough as the Briarwoods near completion of their secret ritual. Yeah,
so there's a Ziggurat under Whitestone, and that's what this is all about. This whole episode is pretty much one long fight, which makes it super fun. Because you're seeing all kinds of stuff. Like, there's so much different like spells and magic and fighting techniques being used like all over the place. One thing I thought was really interesting is like Grog gets taken out really quickly.
Yeah, I was wondering where he had gone for a while, because they all get taken out as they're coming up these stairs by Delilah's spell. And then I guess Grog either got knocked out or just like trapped in something, because he was just gone for a lot of the episode.
Silas had thrown like this huge like boulder or something, and it hit Grog like square in the head. When that spell had happened, everyone else had gotten out of the way when the boulder came down, but Grog didn't, and it knocked him out right away. So like right at the beginning of the battle, their strongest guy is down for the count. Like, he's out of it, which I thought was like a really bold move, because I was like, oh man, like right away they're already screwed. And also before this, so we learned that Percy's sister Cassandra still alive under their spell, like Silas's spell. Like, he's a vampire, he's controlling her. Also, he's got Vax under his control as well. So Vax is fighting against Vox Machina, which makes it even worse. So things are not going well.
Yeah, it turns into like literal sibling rivalry for a couple of these battles, because you've got Percy up against Cassandra, and then you've got Vax up against Vex, because obviously, like, as far as Vex and Vax go, like, she doesn't want anybody else to hurt him, but she's trying to get him to come back to his senses.
Right. So, like I said, the whole episode, a lot of it is one really big fight that there's so much back and forth. Like, it really looks like Vox Machina is pretty much losing most of the battle until really Keyleth is kind of the one that turns the tide because, in previous episodes, she's tried to talk to the sun tree, like commune with it, try to heal it. She had gotten knocked out. She wakes and she sees that they're losing. And then she looks over and sees the roots of the sun tree are actually coming into this underground ziggurat. So she tries to commune with it one more time, and it actually like helps and powers her up so that she can kind of distract Silas and Delilah just enough that the others can kind of get a foothold and start fighting back finally. And then also helps that Grog finally wakes up.
Right. Someone to finally take on Silas. And
yeah,
at the same time, like the ritual that's going on, we find out, is to summon the Whispered One, that is an undead creature whose soul seeks the power to return to our plane or their plane during the solstice, which is happening right now. And this Ziggurat is required. So that's what Lady Briarwood is trying to do here, is just summon the Whispered One for reasons unknown at this time.
Yeah, very Lovecraftian kind of idea here. Like it's like some sort of ancient god kind of thing. It's like, who knows what that thing can do? We have no idea. Whatever it is, it's bad. It looks scary.
Oh man, the fight with well, okay, a couple of things. So Scanlan, when he's fighting against Lady Briarwood.
Oh, man, yeah.
You know, Scanlan's whole thing is he's a bard. He needs to sing for his magic to work, blah, blah, blah. And he's constantly singing these catchy little tunes. But Lady Briarwood, seeing him like trying to do this, casts a silent spell on him. And so he, most of this time, is also out of commission because he can't do anything since he can't talk or sing. And on the other side of things, you've got Keyleth, who had to face off against Silas by herself, and obviously she couldn't take him on. That's what ended with her getting knocked out and then communicating with the Sun Tree, like you were saying.
Yeah, I know like what you're leading up to with this, and it's like one of the best scenes in the show, I think. Delilah's like spell kind of wanes a little bit enough for Scanlan to break through, that silence spell on him.
Well, when it's right when Keyleth gets the power of the Sun Tree, like power, it's kind of a flash, and that breaks Vax being enchanted by Silas, and also break the silent spell. So that's what helps all of this kind of come full circle. And then Lady Briarwood gets silenced by Scanlan in return, which was great.
But it's like when he does it is the best part, though, is because Grog had run up. He's grabbing Silas from behind and holding him still.
Yes.
And Keyleth's using this sunlight she's being imbued with by the Sun Tree to basically Kamehameha the crap out of Silas and destroy him. And it's when like Delilah's trying to do some sort of spell to stop them when Scanlan does the silence on her, so she can't do anything now, so she's helpless. And he does the like finger to the mouth, the shh thing that she did to him earlier. And it's just like, oh man.
So leading up to where Grog got Silas in, his clutches, to where he's restraining him. So that was pretty cool because Silas was trying to enchant, I guess, not enchant. What is the word I'm looking for?
He's trying to
entrance. Trying to entrance Grog.
Grog's like, you're trying to seduce
me.
Yeah.
And Silas was like, no, I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. And then,
no, what?
Like, in order to prevent that from happening, since Grog knows what he's trying to do, he keeps his eyes closed and is just kind of wildly swinging his axe around. And he manages to get some hits off on Silas, enough to where he's got him distracted and is able to hold him and restrain him, while Keyleth pulls off if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z at all, basically does the Piccolo Goku Raditz fight where Grog is holding onto Silas and is just, even though Keyleth warns, is like, it's going to hurt you too. He's like, I can take it, just do it. And so she's casting this giant sunlight spell, and you can see like not only Silas's skin being melted away, but also Grog's in the process. And it's just like an awesome scene. Like that is like at least up to this point, the coolest action scene of the whole series.
Yeah. So Silas gets blasted into ash. Delilah goes hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
Then runs and seals herself into this chamber and finishes the ritual before the others can get in there to stop her. Vex shoots her with an arrow and she strikes back out with some sort of spell that Keyleth jumps to block and gets impaled.
We should note that this whole time, since we were talking about how clingy Vex was towards Vax and Keyleth have had sort of a mini romance thing kind of going on, like a romance, something leading up to where they both like each other, but neither of them is outwardly saying it, sort of thing. Yeah. But it's obvious to anyone else. And Vex is witnessing this, and she is basically just trying to keep him away from her, and even telling him like not to get distracted by pretty things. And so the fact that Keyleth jumps out and saves Vex is kind of a big turning point for her, especially.
Yeah, and it pretty much costs Keyleth her life in that moment. Like she gets, like we said, she gets impaled. Pike, who is, and now this is a little complicated to explain. Pike is not physically present. She is an avatar, or an avatar of Pike is there fighting with them through everything. But Pike's physical form is still at that temple that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So sort of her holy spirit is there. She's still capable of fighting and helping, and she does a lot. Yeah. I'm surprised we hadn't mentioned her this whole time. I had forgotten, but yeah, she plays a huge role in this battle, especially saving Scanlan.
Oh yeah, she saved Scanlan. She fought Lady Briarwood back quite a bit and saved Scanlan's life. But she's just like, I'll heal her because they're like, you know, she's fading fast, but she's still alive. But right when she tries to, her connection is broken, and so Pike basically gets whisked away. So it's like without her there, Keyleth is essentially dead. Nothing can be done. And then Percy, who we also haven't mentioned, Percy has a demon inside of him because he made a pact with a demon to help him get revenge on all of the Briarwoods and all of their minions. So this demon comes out when he's in the presence of any of these people, and he's basically given over almost completely to this demon. Man, he walks up to Lady Briarwood and just shoots her full of holes. Yeah. I was like, dang.
But doesn't want to kill her yet because he wants her to suffer.
Yeah, so he doesn't give her like a killing blow. He just pumps a bunch of bullets into her body. I was like, oh my God.
This whole time within this chamber that they've gone in to stop Lady Briarwood, there's like these corpses. The wall is basically made of corpses. It's just all these moving figures. We find out that the reason that she had been trying to summon the Whispered One, at least in part, was to get the power to bring, to keep Silas alive, or maybe to bring him back to his mortal form. I'm not sure but basically to save Silas in some way.
Yeah, it's to keep them together forever. Yeah, essentially. Yes. But something, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but like the Whispered One does show up, but then he looks at her and then just kind of disappears, and she starts screaming and she's like, you betrayed me. Like, no, this isn't how it was supposed to be. But like in its place, there's like this whirling, there's like an artifact, like this black globe that keeps spinning. And by the end of this episode, we don't know what it's for, but we see some wanky stuff with it in the final episode of the series. But
right, and this episode essentially closes out with Pike losing contact with her form and Keyleth dying. So it kind of ended back then, but there was a lot more to fill in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to Exandria to hang out with the Vox Machina crew after promising that they will plug their ears anytime they're around Scanlan. Then see what they thought of the show, The Legend of Vox Machina.
Holy crap! I thought Dungeons & Dragons was for pimply old nerds with no lives. But if this is what it could be like, sign me up! Booze, blood, and babes of all shapes, sizes, and sexes. Plus, it's so funny! I would like to rage!
Whoa! Who knew that Dungeons & Dragons could actually be cool? The smelly guy with the fedora at the comic shop who DMs our adventures always marries the Lady Dragon NPCs and makes us come to their weddings in-game instead of getting into cool fights. If I have to do one more initiative roll to see who gets to be the ring bearer, I'm still checking my way out of there.
I almost spit out my water when you said the thing about the fedora. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like you really caught me off guard.
It was both of us saying like, oh, like we didn't know D&D could be cool.
Yeah.
Was the root.
That's fun. So what are some of the things that, I mean, we know that we like this show quite a bit, but what are like some of the specific things you really liked about this?
It was tough to point out like specific highlights because I like it overall, but I really dig the animation. And it is very much like the same animation we're getting from Invincible and to some degree, even Voltron, if you want to think about it
yes.
From that perspective, just because of the simplistic like line art with not a lot of detail in the figures, but it's a clean, like simple style that really shines during action scenes, especially in that last episode we were just describing. The voice acting, of course, was fantastic. With an amazing cast like this, though, you know, that's no surprise. Everyone killed it, but even as much as I may not personally jibe well with players who base their characters around raunchy humor, like some of the players you've actually told me about in your games, Sam Riegel was a real standout as Scanlan since he balanced that humor well with being serious when he needed to be. It was just so funny. And I think they also did a great job shortening the campaign down from the potentially hundreds of hours and hours of D&D sessions that it took into a very condensed, enjoyable version, sort of like a nice highlight reel of their adventure.
Yeah, I agree with all those things. The animation's gorgeous, so beautiful, so well done, which makes those fight scenes stick out so much better than almost any other show I can think of. Like when we talk about how good the fight scenes are, they really are top notch as far as what kind of fight scenes you're going to see in any kind of show. This really is some of the best that you're going to see. And yeah, the voice acting is the best. You really can't get better. And it works so well, too, because this cast has been playing these specific characters for years before this even became a show. So like all of the like emotion and everything behind these characters, you can really feel it. Like they really do embody these characters extremely well. And I'm really excited to see where the next season goes. And I hope that they can go beyond that too, because there's so much story to tell. And I think one of the things that I love the most about this is the development of each character. There is so much development in each of them that it's just, it's kind of mind boggling. And I'm so interested to see where some of them go. Cause I'm even thinking about like where I know that campaign 1 goes with a few story elements that pick up from, you know, what we just saw. There's some very specific things with Scanlan, because you talked about like how, you know, he's so goofy and raunchy, but he knows how to be serious, you know, when he has to. But Scanlan in this campaign, man, he does get some really interesting beats that you don't expect. And his character develops in such a crazy, interesting way that nobody, like, no pun intended, no one would peg him to develop in this way from like watching this first season. There's no way you would expect the things that would happen with him to happen. And also like Grog has some really interesting stuff too that's going to happen as well. Especially like, you know, that blade that Silas was using that like grows every time it tastes somebody else's blood.
Yeah, like that vampiric blade.
Yeah, Grog takes that. And so you can imagine like, you know, a guy that's very into violence, but now he's got this blade that craves violence and is vampiric in itself. Like that's going to cause some really interesting things to happen. So,
oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all of them have so many interesting things. Vax goes on this really interesting journey as well. And the rest of them continue on a lot of, you know, the stuff that's established already. It doesn't lack for development. So I'm really interested to see what happens next because they did such a good job already.
Nice.
Any dislikes of the show or criticisms?
Yeah, and it's a little nitpicky, of course, because like I said, I like the show overall, but with how much I love the animation, like I was talking about earlier, and the amazing fight scenes, it was a little distracting whenever the CG beast would show up. And what I mean by that is like the dragon in episode 1 and also 2, and the undead wolves or whatever they were from episode 5. It's like, they're drastically different from the, traditionally animated characters, and it's very noticeable. It's not that the CG was bad per se, it just didn't blend well with the environment all the time for me. And it was sort of a weird forced mixed media look that I didn't really care for. It wasn't so distracting that it like takes away from the show, but it is something I wanted to point out since it was likely due to probably budget constraints or what have you. I mean, I don't know the true reason for it, but I wish that those had also been traditionally animated, but I get that there's probably valid reasons why that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I think that was a really interesting and kind of strange choice for them to make. Again, it probably does come to budget and stuff, but yeah, it does stick out really strangely that they go that weird computer generated route for just the large beasts. And
it's not even just the large ones, like those dogs too.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I think some of those corpses on the walls, I think they were the same way too, actually. Now that I think about
when it's a group of things like the corpses or like a zombie horde or whatever, I get it because it's easier to do it that way. But when it's just like a single thing like the dragon, that's where I'm like, I mean, it seems like they could have just animated a dragon. But again, I'm not an animator, so I'm not.
Yeah,
this is me from afar saying this, and not to say that it ruins the show by any means. It's just something that I definitely noticed.
I do have two other criticisms of the show too. Like as much as I'm going to sing praises of it, like I do have, things that I won't shy away from saying. I do think the amount of the language, like I do think they go over the top at times to the point it feels a little forced, especially in the first couple episodes. It almost feels like they wrote in like almost like as many curse words as they could in some ways to just kind of like, I don't know, like almost in a way to me, it was, they were trying to appeal to like sort of like the heavy metal crowd, like and I'm literally meaning like the movie Heavy Metal, like and also like that draw from like the Invincible crowd too, like which was Amazon's big animated hit right before this. Like it almost felt like they were trying to be like, okay, we're making this adult, but we really need to push it to try to really get people's attention and get their eyes on this thing. And so we're going to be a little bit more shocking to do that. And like, I still love the show, but like there's times that felt a little bit tiresome. And I was just kind of like, I mean, really, I feel like you could have done that part a little bit better.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It did feel like a little bit overdone at times. I have no problem with it when it's done at the right pace, I guess. But it seems like they just kind of kept going with it to the extreme to where it became oversaturated with it at a certain point.
Yeah. And my other criticism is also, to be honest, a little bit of a criticism of Critical Role also. Too many mind control problems. Everyone's always getting mind controlled. And at some point, like they really got to do something else. I mean, there always is like way cooler stuff going on in the show and in the campaigns and everything. But mind control happens a lot in this first season to many characters. And I after a few times, I was kind of like, oof, man, I really hope you come up with something else, because that's getting old real quick.
Yeah. Now that you pointed out, there was just a ton of mind control. Like every episode, somebody was under somebody else's control.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to Grog, it happened to Vax, it happened to Cassandra. I'm trying to remember. I think there was one episode where I think all of them were mind controlled except for one. Sovereign Ural got mind controlled at one point.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, guys, come on.
I get it. You can control minds. Fine.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, I'm like, oh boy, just come on, fix that. And then I think we're good.
So with all that said, what would you rate this?
Man, it just combines so many things I love. It's a great story. It uses Dungeons and Dragons at its base. These amazing characters are brought to life by fantastic voice actors with tons of action, tons of comedy. I was super excited for it to come out, and I was not disappointed when it did. And even with like the things that I picked at and the things that I was like, I really think that they could tweak these things. It still doesn't take away the magic of the show for me. Like, I still would sit down and like rewatch this thing, like sitting down and rewatching those 3 episodes. I was like, oh, dang, I want to rewatch this whole series again. And I can't wait for the next one. So I had to give Vox Machina 5 bowls of someone please turn our podcast into a cartoon serial out of 5.
Even though, like, I don't really have it in me personally to watch other people play D&D for hours on end, seeing it played out in this format by these incredibly talented voice actors was an absolute blast. Plus, as a tabletop gamer myself, it was nice seeing little Easter eggs strewn about. Like, you would see D20s kind of not like as actual dice, but just like the shape of a D20 on a doorway or something. You're like, I see you.
Yeah.
And whether or not you watch Critical Role or even play D&D, I think this is one you can go in and have a great time with just as a fun fantasy adventure that does not pull any punches. Unless you're a kid, again, since this show definitely earned its TV MA rating. So overall, I'd give Legend of Vox Machina 5 big bowls of Briarwood Bite cereal out of 5. And I highly recommend it and can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, man. I really hope we get it soon. I don't know when it's supposed to come out, but I am chomping at the bit for it. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting for you having knowledge of what may be in store for us, whereas I'm just completely blind to it.
One thing I was really interested in, too, that we didn't talk about, in the original campaign, there was another member of the cast, and that member ended up having to leave the show.
Was there like a falling out or something? What's the goss on that?
Yeah, so he played a character named Tiberius Stormwind, who was a dragonborn sorcerer. And what happened there was there was some issues occurring. Some of it was personal issues with him. And then also he was not being he was not being a gracious player with the rest of the crew at times. He did a lot of stuff that would be like, leaving the rest of the group behind and very much trying to do his own thing. But, it's still in this big group setting and stuff. And their DM, Matt Mercer, tried to accommodate him as much as he could and still tell a good story and everything. But I think with him not being a huge team player, with a lot of personal issues that was going on there. And then there was a little bit of controversy too that had like an online altercation between him and a fan of the show. I think there was an ask for him to leave, and I think he agreed that he needed to leave. And so I think he still used that character and, did some things on his own, still using the character and everything. Like, I think he may have done or written maybe some like short stories or did something with it. I don't exactly know. But, he left pretty amicably. Everybody wished him well and stuff. And I mean, there's not too much else to say about it, but I was interested to see how they would do that with the show. And because I knew that character was not going to be a part of the actual show, but his character did have a big role in a lot of the early stuff in that first campaign. I think he left around episode, I don't know if it was 30 something or 60 something, but he was in it for, at least a year.
Jeez. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, but still, like, you wouldn't know. Like, they did it very well. So they definitely, the writing definitely made up for, losing a whole character from the original story. So it worked out.
Well, thank you, Chris, for suggesting this for your birthday pick.
You're welcome. Happy birthday to me.
And a happy birthday to all of you, too, whenever your birthday is.
Yeah, there's a chance that somebody could be listening to this on their birthday, even if it's not the day it comes out. So happy birthday, whoever's listening to this on their birthday. And if you're not, listen to it on your birthday, because then you'll get a nice surprise.
Yeah. Hey, re-listen to this episode on your birthday. Share this episode with anyone you know when it's their birthday. As a birthday present.
As a present to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing. We just saved you because now you don't have to spend money on any of your friends or family this year. Send them this episode. This is us saying happy birthday to them. Happy birthday.
Yeah. You don't have to go on to Cameo and get a personalized birthday
No.
from a celebrity or anything like that. Just, we're already wishing it to everyone. So you can just this is your free Cameo. You're welcome.
Yeah, don't buy any of those gift cards that is like, half Red Lobster and then there's like 3 other restaurants that aren't even in your city. Don't give that to your friend or family member. Just send them this podcast, this episode in particular.
But if you do go to Red Lobster, get some of those those
biscuits.
rolls at least. Get some of the
Cheddar
biscuits.
Bay biscuits.
Send them to us. I'm not saying for yourself. Send them to us since we gifted you this nice present.
We'll take those, please. You get those for free, so it's not like you have to pay for them. Just ask for extra, throw them in a box, send them our way.
Ask for a water, take the biscuits, and run.
Yep, run for the hills.
Okay, so I should probably say we do not condone theft. In case anyone is listening to this who may be susceptible to taking advice from podcasters, which is problematic in and of itself.
Those rolls are free. Those biscuits, they're free.
Yeah, but
it's not that.
But I don't know if you can just go in and not eat anything and get the biscuits. I think it's free with the purchase of something.
I'd have to see the contracts.
Yeah, I don't know for real, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Close Enough for our editor Jack's birthday pick. It's a lot of birthday stuff going on.
Too much birthday stuff.
It's a little too birthday in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy early birthday to our editor Jack. And I'm excited for this next one too, because I love this show as well.
Do you know there are too many birthdays in August? Because your birthday is in August, Jack's is in August, my mom's is in August, my dad's is in August, Shaddai's mom's is in August.
My mom's is in August too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why were all moms born in August?
My mom's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
My mom's is the end of the month. Hers is the 31st.
Oh, happy birthday, moms.
Yeah. Happy birthday to all moms.
All moms, all editors, all dads,
all Chris's, all born in August,
but no Josephs.
No Josephs. No, we're June babies.
Yeah.
But once again, I am Joseph, and it's not my birthday.
I'm Chris, and it's all of our birthdays.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.